All right, guys, how's it going? Welcome back to All for United. This is another post-match reaction with me after a United win away from home. United are now 2 points off the top of the league. The title charge is well and truly on, and we're all forever blowing bubbles on this channel. Yes, West Ham United fans, if you are watching this video, I feel so sorry for you. I really am. I'm really sorry for you. Anyway, United won 3-1. With me is the better word, but you can be on me if you like. I don't mind, as long as we're, sanitizing and stuff like that. Joining me with this wonderful smile on Temmie's face is Jamie and Keane on the post-match reaction. Guys, how are we feeling? Temmie, go first. What are you feeling?
I just relief, honestly. Like, that's the only real word I can use to put it, because I'm telling you right now, we dodged a bullet. We dodged an absolute. We should have been 3-0 down, like legitimately, not like half chances, like legitimately 3-0 down. We somehow survived that. Ollie desperately makes some subs that confuse me, but shit, they worked. So I mean, I think it was kind of throw caution to the wind, and shout out to the players in the second half, for showing some individual. I thought all the goals were just individual brilliance of just Dean Henderson. I can't even believe that pass. I still can't wrap my head around that. I don't know if he did that on purpose, but I'm gonna just say he did it on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Pogba got on the goal sheet. Greenwood, beautiful goal. I mean, I'm happy, but at the same time, I feel like there's a lot to be left designed with that performance. So we move.
Of course, it wasn't perfect, but then again, first halves for pussies. Who cares about scoring first? Keane, let me know what you think. How are you feeling?
Like for me, it's a game of two halves, really. Like, I think that first half, West Ham massively dominated the game, though we were very slow and very lethargic in our approach, though we weren't moving the ball quickly, and it felt like though it was going to be one of them days where though we weren't going to get the 3 points and get anything out of this game, really. But then you've seen, obviously, we made the substitutions to have Bruno and Rashford come on, and though we're more direct in our approach. And you seen then again when Mata came on, we had a bit more composure on the ball as well. So all in all, I wasn't expecting 3 points at half time. But look, all in all, I am happy. And look, it did come down to individual brilliance in the end. But as Temmie said, we move now because we have a massive game now in the Champions League on Tuesday.
3 points, 3 pints. That's what we're all doing. Guys, get in the comments. Let us know what you think. I'm just seeing lots of different comments here just before I go to Jamie. Wilson says, in the first half, our midfield combo was not right. Donny would have been more influential from deep. Possibly. I'm not going to argue with that. That's a potential point there. Mark's here. Hello, Mark. We cannot keep riding on wins. What? 3 points are great, but we need to be more consistent. What's more consistent than winning 8-9 games in a row away from home? I know you mean the performance. I get you. Joe's in the comments. Manchester United are the form team away from home in world football. Insert Carthy catchphrase. You already know. I'll say it for the end of the video. It's all good. We all know about my closing statements. Jamie, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm just relieved, mate. I don't know about you, but I'm just relieved that at halftime, this was very much nearly a completely different show, wasn't it? If that continued in the second half, but like the two lads said, they're completely different halves, different performances, and I know at halftime, I don't know about your boys' feed, but Ollie was taking a bit of a pelting on mine, so I'm presuming it's maybe the same, but. Fair play to him, he was brave. I didn't really understand the substitutions. I know Temmie just picked on it a minute ago. I was the same. I was like, what's he taking Van de Beek off for here, man? We need someone that can play the ball progressively forward, but it doesn't matter now, does it? I mean, it's there's all ifs and buts and what would have happened and all this and that, but it doesn't matter, does it? It's 3 points, and like Keane just said there, individual brilliance pays the bills at the end of the day, don't it? And you could sit and pick at that first half performance all night, but I just think we need to sort of be a little bit more positive with it and say, do you know what? It weren't great, but we got the job done when it really mattered, and the goals were fantastic. I mean, Pogba's goal, I was actually shouting at my TV like, will you just get involved? And he does that, and I'm just like, that's just Pogba, isn't it? Absolutely shocking for 45 minutes, non-existent, and then he does that, and you're like, yeah, okay, I can see why people don't want him to leave, So, but yeah, just all in all, fantastic second half performance, completely different team. And by God, did we need it? Because if we would have went to Leipzig coming off of a West Ham defeat, it would have been more of an uphill battle than it already is. So, yeah, fantastic result.
Yeah, definitely needed that, especially after the PSG result. We needed to bounce back straight away. We said it in the preview. Momentum is a big thing, and if you're taking this result into midweek, it could make all the difference. Guys, get in the comments. Tell us anything you thought about the game, and we'll talk about it on here. It's an interactive show, of course. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, make sure to switch over to YouTube because we are looking to grow over there as well. I set us a target on the pre-match of about 1.6k subscribers by the end of the year. That's possible. That's doable. But if you want to get it even higher, let's do that as well. So make sure to head over there, subscribe to All for United, and make sure to like the video because it does make a difference. Brown Knights here. What did you miss? If you're on about the first half, I'm not going to tell you because you missed it for good reason. Temi, on the point of the first and second half differences, obviously straight away the instant message is going to be, oh, well, if it wasn't for Bruno, or oh, if it wasn't for Rashford, or if it wasn't for individual brilliance. But surely, in a week where we criticised Ollie for not making changes quick enough against PSG, in a week where we said, oh, I should have made a change at half time, and rightly so, do you not think he deserves a bit of praise today?
No, I don't. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't.
Fair enough.
I don't. I thought the team selection today was not it. Obviously, no real ball retention, and then the subs. We can say the subs worked, but bringing on Bruno and bringing on Rashford was the right decision. I mean, who he subbed off, I thought that was confusing. I thought the result, let's say he took off McTominay and then he took off, Greenwood, I feel like the result could have still ended up being the same just because of Bruno's influence in that game in the second half. So I'm not giving Ollie any credit for this win whatsoever. There's no chance I'm giving him credit for this win. This was all, in my opinion, a lot of, let's just start off with luck because we should have been down 3-0 in that first half. If Sebastian Haller doesn't fall over, just literally fall over, that's a clear cut chance.
Slipped on the fucking bubbles that popped on the fucking ground.
Facts. So thank you, West Ham, for all those bubbles you blew because it cost you the game. But no, I'm not giving Ollie any credit for this game. 0%.
That's a fair opinion. Comments, let us know what you think. Do you think he deserves anything from that in terms of... Because I personally see it as, well, it's not all down to him and it's not all down to the players. I thought he could have easily turned around and gone, well, there's an important game in midweek against Leipzig that we need to stay in the Champions League for, and I wanted to rest Bruno and Rashford for that. He could have easily said that.
You can do that. I feel like you can do that and still pick the correct team. I feel like if we rested Bruno and, Matic should have played today, in my opinion. That McTominay was poor the whole game. Even when we were playing well, he was not good. I guarantee you if he plays Matic in that game, we're not in the position we were in the first half. So, yes, Brown Knight, no credit. I see your comment. No credit at all. I said it. Zero.
That's his opinion. I mean, we're all going to have opinions. This is an interactive show after all, so get involved in the comments. Keane, I'm going to ask you on this. I mean, this is addressed to Temi, but I'm going to ask you. Martial, what did you make of his performance and what does he need to do to start improving?
I think Martial, he wasn't sharp today at all. Lost the ball though quite a number of times. And again, I think switching between roles between left and striker is not benefiting Martial at all. I think he needs to find a bit more consistency in his game, but how many years have we been saying that since he's come in terms of his consistency? I think he is too inconsistent, and I know Edison Cavani, with his age being 33, he can't play every week, and I think that's a problem really. Again, I think with a number 9, I think Mason Greenwood long term is probably going to be Manchester United's number 9. Right now, probably not. He's still young, and so it's still kind of too early to kind of throw him into the Lions Den. You know what I mean? But really, Martial has been happening since the start of the season. He's now injured again with a groin injury there now. How long is he going to be out for? I don't know. And if he's out for longer, it doesn't give him a chance to develop any more consistency into his game. So for me, Martial, I think as a striker, he's not a number 9. I think he's a left-sided player. But again, Marcus Rashford is a much better left-sided player than Martial. So where does his future lie at Man United? Long-term at number 9, I don't think so.
I see. The thing is with that, especially based on last season's performances, the statement was Martial's a better 9 than Rashford is, and Rashford probably suits the left more when when Martial's in the 9. So it's a weird situation where the two seem to work well together. But my thing is, I thought about this the other day, and if you look into it, it does seem to have a bit of a recurring theme. Does Martial not respond well to competition? That's the question I'm raising to everyone, because let's think back to when he first came in. He was sort of pretty much the main man, because Wayne Rooney was dropping back into midfield when Martial signed. And then comes Zlatan, and he has a bit of time out of the team, and he sort of goes through that spell where he gets a few goals here and there, but he doesn't really provide any consistency. And then we get the season where he's on the left with Rashford, and he's competing for one place really, but he's guaranteed to come on at some point. And then in comes Sanchez, and then that's when the competition comes back, and then he's got to compete with Lukaku almost in the next season after that for the striker position. And then he gets a full season under Ole where he's the main man. He's the main number 9. He's playing near enough every game, and he has his best season. I don't think that's a coincidence. And now he's brought Cavani in, and he's got a bit more competition. So, Jamie, I'm going to ask you this. Do you think that Martial is a kind of player who doesn't respond well to criticism, and not criticism, rather, to competition that maybe forces him to become better? And Brown Knight, yes, I will talk about corners in a minute.
Yeah, I definitely think you're probably right there. But let's be real here. You don't play for a club like Man United and don't expect competition. I don't care who you are. You can't come and play for a club the size of Man United with the quality that we have in that team and not expect people to be pushing you for places. If anything, it should make him hungrier to want to prove that he is the main man and say to Solskjaer, nah, do you know what? You can bring Ederson in as much as you want. This is my position. And he's not. I've said it many times on Wall of Reds. I'm very consistent with it. Martial needs 3 or 4 chances to goal, whether you like it or not. That's just the way it is. And he doesn't have. He's an inside left forward, which when we play him out on the right, on the left, sorry, he does cut in a lot. He likes that. He's not a traditional winger. He's not got a very good left foot, So he does have to come into that sort of centre forward position and play more centrally. He does his better work when he is in the penalty area. So I just think it's a situation where he doesn't necessarily have a chosen position that he knows is his. But like I said earlier, you ain't playing for Man United and not getting somebody that's breathing on your neck if you're having a 4 or 5 out of 10 every week. The problem with Martial is he doesn't have a good game, and it's very noticeable in that 90 minutes. His head goes down. He starts looking around for his teammates as if it's their fault that he's lost the ball. And sometimes, to be honest with you, and I've done it today, I was like, I just want to grab him and say, do you want to get a grip? Because you're playing in this game at the moment. Your head's down because you've lost the ball. Like, you're an international footballer playing for one of the biggest clubs in England. Are you going to get a grip or what? Or do we need to take you off? Because his head's just constantly always down and he's moping, and you can see him moaning to himself, and which is a good thing because he's probably annoyed with himself that he's sort of not playing very well. But it affects his whole game. And when he went off and we bought Rashford, I know we bought Rashford on earlier and Bruno, but when Martial went off, you didn't notice that he wasn't on the pitch anymore. The football was more fluid with Mason through the middle. And when Martial's there, he likes the ball to feet and he likes to hold it up and bring other players into play, which is fine. But this particular game was suited more for the running behind. But he's definitely got all the credentials there, and he's a fantastic player. Absolutely love Tony, but he's too inconsistent for me. And if you're going to be inconsistent at that level, at the level we're playing at the moment, where we're in the top 4 now, we're wanting to go into the final group stage, the knockout stages in the Champions League, you can't be consistently picking him if he's having a 4 out of 10. I don't care how good he is. If he's not playing well, and he isn't playing well at the moment, he shouldn't be in the team for me. I've said it before a million times on Wall of Reds. I say it every week. Consistency is key for this team at the moment. We need to go forward and be getting positive results and get a little bit of momentum. We're not going to win every game. We're going to have performances like we did in the second half, but we can't have passengers. The team has to come first. And if that means dropping him for the game in Leipzig, then that's the way it is. I wouldn't personally drop him because he can win a game, but he's far too inconsistent at the moment, Martial, and his attitude's not the best at the moment either. You might disagree with me, but that's my take on it.
Tammy, I will go to you in a second, don't you worry. And there's a comment here that I think is quite interesting. Martial might benefit from working with a sports psychologist. I mean, I'm pretty sure United do have a sports psychologist, so don't worry about that. I will disagree on one thing that Jamie said, that I don't think this game suited a running behind, because simply West Ham were putting men behind the ball and they were compact, so that's not what a game you want to run in behind on. But
our biggest chances came from when the balls come through the middle, though, and someone was running in behind. I know what you're saying.
That was after we scored the first, which forced West Ham out a little bit. So there, you can say maybe once we scored the first, then Martial sort of wasn't useful there.
Yeah, spot on.
There's loads of comments that I will get to, because there's some interesting conversations to be had. But I have to see what Temi says, because as Jacob says, he loves him. So Temi, go tell him why Martial's a baller.
No, yeah, this was he was shocking today. First, I'm gonna just get that out of the way. That was his worst performance of the season by a mile to me, because the things that I usually praise him for, he wasn't even doing. He couldn't find a pass today. He didn't hold the ball up well today. He definitely didn't press at all today. I think Cavani would make that initial first run.
It's Cavani and Van de Beek that pressed.
Yeah, and then it kind of died, when it moved to the side. But this whole, again, he's not been great this season. He's not been that good. He's not been that good in terms of goal scoring. Obviously, he got suspended for 3 games. People forget that. But this whole, he was our most consistent player last season. And I'm going to continue to say that to the cows. Like 30 plus goal contributions for a number 9 in any country, in any league, is consistency. I don't know where else you're going to find that. He has started this season poorly, correct. But the whole team, we lost to Crystal Palace 3-1. We lost to Spurs 6-1. The whole team has been inconsistent. Now we're starting to get a little bit of form, and he needs to pick up the pace. I'm not even going to argue that. But I don't think dropping him is. Do you know? In my opinion, I don't think that's smart against Leipzig. I think today, I think this was all tactical in my opinion. The way we started that first half. Excuse me. I thought we just offensively, the build-up play was shit. That's not abnormal to us, if we're being completely honest, when people stay compact. But again, back to this Martial thing. He's one of our, normally when he is on form, he is one of our most consistent player, if not the most consistent player. So I definitely disagree with the notion that, thank you. This is definitely a poor run of form for him. Club, country, he's not at the races right now.
So do you think he has to play through it, Femi? Temi, do you think he has to play through it? Sorry, or do you think?
I think a lot of it has to do with all the chopping and changing we've done formation wise. One week, one game we're playing a diamond. The next game he's out on the left. The next game he's playing centrally by himself. Like there's no consistency anywhere. So I don't blame players too much when I see, like, let's say 6 players in the starting 11 aren't playing consistently for a couple months. I'm not going to blame the play like that. That's an issue. That's a more internal issue when the whole team is playing it. Bruno is the only person this season I can say has, and even he has had has had a mini dip, but he is the only person I can say this season who has kind of stayed consistent throughout, throughout contributing goals, assists, everybody else literally, and maybe Van de Beek too. I'll give it that to him because he hasn't even played that much. Everybody else has had poor performances. So stick with my guy Tony. Definitely should not be dropping him. He's one of our best players. You don't drop one of your best players.
Okay, fair enough. Guys, get in the comments. Let us know what you make of it. I'm going to have to address a couple of these comments. Is anyone on the screen from Manchester? Yes, I'm from Manchester. I'm not sure why that matters, but yes, I live in Manchester. It's a global fan channel. It's a global interactive fan channel. It's a global interactive fan show. So why would it matter where we're from? Anyway, what else have we got? Oh, my word. Brown Knight's nailed it. I have the new Dave saves. Wait for it. Denied. I love it. I rate it, Brown Knight. I rate it. Ben was in the comments with a good question. This West Ham team drew against City and Leicester. We dropped points against them last season. Same with Southampton and Everton, who we, of course, beat. Is this now progress? On paper, I say yes.
Yeah.
In terms of performances, maybe not. But in terms of results, yeah. I mean, if you're going to win every game coming back from behind, and if you're going to win every game 1-0, who the fuck cares if you're going to win the league? Do you know what I mean? If you're going to do that for 38 games, no one's going to care. But let me see what you guys think. Tell me, you go first.
It's progress on paper, but again, these performances, I'm going to keep saying it. Like I can't truly think we're making progress in a bigger, macro level. You see what I'm saying? Until I see a full 90. Like I'm really trying to pick my head we don't play a full 90 minutes ever. I mean, next to ever. I really can't think about it. Maybe I'm trying to think back. Maybe the Leipzig 5-0, but even then, that first half was shaky. I want to see a complete 90-minute performance, start to finish. The opposition doesn't get a foothold in that game. It doesn't feel like we're against the Kosh. West Ham were dominating us in that first half. It's not even like they were sitting back. They were playing against us. So I need to see a full 90, a consistent formation, something like that is when I will say, okay, when I know what 11 is going to get played next in a Premier League game, I'll feel like, okay, there's something we're building here. But until then, I think we're going to see a lot of heartbreak, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Keane, let us know what you think. Is it sustainable? Is it progress? What do you think?
Look, I'll echo exactly what the lad said. Like it's on paper, yeah, it's progress, but again, like how many more times can we keep coming from behind? Eventually, your luck is going to run out. Like that's the thing. Eventually, your luck is going to run out, and you're going to get smacked. Hopefully, that doesn't happen. Look, I really hope it doesn't, because look, at the end of the day, football is a results game, and once you're getting results on the board, even when you're playing poorly, that's a sign of a good team. But at the same time, as Hemi said, we need to see consistency. We need to know exactly, what team is going to start, what kind of tactics we're going to play. You see the other top teams in and around us. There's Liverpool's, the Cities, the Chelseas. All these teams, when they score a goal, there's a pattern of play, and you know the style of play, and you kind of know, let's say 10 out of the maybe 11 players who are going to start. With United, we don't have that. We don't have the consistency in terms of our starting 11. Like today, we all could have picked a predicted 11. Guarantee not one of us would have got a predicted 11 today. Bang on. With most of these other teams, you can. With this as well, I think people who criticise and resting Bruno today, but when you look at Leipzig and you look at the Champions League, that's a massive game, and Bruno's played a large amount of football since January, since he's came in. So you can see kind of the understanding. It's a must-win game against Leipzig. And when you actually look at Man United's games in December, especially coming up to the Christmas period, we've an average 2 days between games in the next 2 weeks, whereas other clubs are like 3, 4, 5 days between games. United have about 2 days between games. So I can see why he was looking at resting at Rashford and Bruno, because they played a large amount of football in the last 12 months. So I wouldn't criticize that too much. But when they came on, you've seen the damage they've done in that regard. But to come back to the original question, long term, yes, like on paper, you can it's progress. But at the same time, we need to be more consistent. We can't be looking to come back from behind in every game. We need to start taking the initiative in games, because, as I see in the comments, the ridiculous amount of talent we have. We should be putting teams like West Ham, with no disrespect to West Ham, West Hams, West Broms, Brightons, Burnleys, all these kind of teams. We need to be putting these away, and we need to take the initiative, not come from behind every game.
Fair play. Comments, please stop speaking to BS, because he is chatting a load of BS. Instead, do what Brown Knight tells you. Like the video. All of you, right now. It costs you absolutely nothing. This is something that I had... Jamie, I will go to you to address that.
Okay, mate.
But, this one, right. Not this one, sorry. It's this one. The weakness is definitely the lack of coaching. Right. I had this while I was live tweeting. You can say it's a lack of coaching, but what would you change? Tell me why. Why is there a lack of coaching? Share your opinion. Give me an actual opinion. Why do you think it's a lack of coaching? What part of coaching? Because, I mean, I'm a coach, and I think I've got 2 other coaches with me. As we were chatting before the live stream. Tell us what you think. We'll have a conversation on it. But don't just say it's a lack of coaching. Anyway, yeah, Jamie, go on. What do you make of our form right now, and what do we need to change to make it more sustainable, as everyone's saying that it's not really?
Yeah, obviously, that I think the two lads nailed it on the head, so I won't sort of go into too much depth because they've hit the nail on the head with it, really. But like Keane said a little minute ago there, like we've got to really sort of start grabbing the bull by the horns with these games and putting our own stamp on things and being a little more clinical in the final third. I mean, we waste so many good opportunities in games, and you get away with it against your West Broms, against your West Hams, but if we turn up and don't start in Leipzig for the first 20 minutes like we seem to do away from home, we'll be a couple of goals down. They will put the chances away because they've got a lot more quality than West Ham. And if we could be 3 or 4-0 down against West Ham, we've really got to sort of take stock here. And I don't know, was it the wrong team? Yeah, possibly it was. Was it the wrong sort of game plan? Yeah, maybe. But the individual players have to take a bit of responsibility as well. It can't all be, I know Ollie's getting some stick in the comments, but we can't always put it at his door. I've played a good standard of football. I'm sure you lads have played football, and sometimes you've got to take a bit of responsibility as a player to maybe track that man back instead of sort of letting him pass you and put a foot in, do the dirty work. And I think it's been a little bit of everything through the season. I don't think the players were fit at the start of the season. I think they've took a little bit of time to get back up to match fitness. We're trying to sort of work out. I think Ollie knows his best team. He seems quite consistent with his back four at the moment, although I don't know whether he'll bring Shaw back in when he's fit for Tellez. I don't think Tellez had his best game today. I don't particularly think he's played fantastic since he's signed, but I've seen enough of him at Porto to know that there's a really fantastic player there. So I hope Ollie does stick with him. He's still learning the ropes. He's a new player. But you got to manage the situation for what they are. And I think dropping Rashford and Fernandes today was intelligent if it would have went to plan and we wouldn't have had to use them players. But them players have been used now and they've got minutes underneath their belt that they wouldn't have necessarily had to have if we would have got it right from the first whistle. We're just inconsistent FC. It's so inconsistent. The performances, I know we're on a little bit of a run at the moment, so I don't think we can look too deep into it. I do think the fitness was a massive issue at the start of the season and the players definitely do now, but we've just got to start treating each game for exactly what it is and stop looking too far ahead and going one game at a time, and starting with Wednesday, because we can't have another 45 minutes like that because we'll be out of the Champions League if we do that. So, as I say, I don't want to touch too much on certain aspects of it because both the lads have already said them. So I've tried to go a little different direction with it. But we just need some consistency, some real consistency from the staff, from the players, and look, we're in the top form. We're not even hitting top gear, so we can really push on if we can find that inconsistency. We don't want inconsistency, definitely not. If we can get a little bit of consistency and a settled 11, and get them little patterns of play forming between the individual players, because like Temi said earlier, it's all chop and change all the time. There's no consistency there, so I think that's what we need. A consistent 11. Of course, you're going to have to rotate players. That's natural at this level of football, but just a little bit of consistency with a lot of things. But as I say, the boys have made it away, so I'm going to stop talking now.
Before I go around and get closing thoughts, I will respond to a few of these comments. Fair enough. Thank you for getting in the comments because we want to start a discussion. Right, let's start with this one. Ollie said he wants to play with a press, but we don't press. It's all half-hearted pressing, and we don't press as a united teams play out against our press too easily. I agree. We did press at the start of his reign, if you remember rightly. However, teams do evolve, and sometimes you have to adapt to what you're playing against. And quite simply,
he doesn't trust Lindelof and Maguire.
Exactly. So you can't play that higher line if you grow. So when he first came in, he didn't have Maguire and he had Lindelof. So he thought bringing Maguire in would somehow, he did improve our defense. But overall, you can't play a high line with those two. So now he has to change the way he's playing. That's what happens.
Or buy another center back.
Next comment. Defending from corners. Yeah, I don't like Zonal. I'll agree with you on that one.
Zonal marking is done. Like, we don't have defenders who are smart enough to play like zonal marking. Like, if you have like
you can't even
Lindelof in there.
There's none of this. There's none of that. That's what's key to zonal marking.
like if you have a Vidic and Ferdinand in there, absolutely you can go in there, you can play zone marking. Number one, number one they'll be switched on. Number two, they're confident in the air, and number three, there's leadership there. But with the lack of leaders and with the lack of quality in there, you can't do it. Like again, it's just like I think that's where we're getting caught in the last couple of games. Against Southampton, we got caught with it. Against West Ham, we got caught with it. Like I know Leipzig, will we get caught with it during the week? It seems that's a pattern that's developing, is getting caught in corners, getting caught in set pieces. And like teams are going to start recognizing that and start targeting that even more, especially the more physical teams down lower in the table. I know we're a lot better than them like on football and ability, but this is where teams look at us and they'll say, this is where we can hurt them. And it's most definitely a vulnerability that we have there.
Next comment. Again, we don't have a style of play. We rely on individual brilliance. There are no replicated passes or patterns of play like well-coached sides City and Liverpool. No, I don't agree with that. We do have certain patterns. Just because they don't... Look, you can have a certain pattern of play.
Kind of agree with this.
The way I see it is you can have a pattern of play, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't mean there's no pattern. What I would rather say is we're not good at doing it. That's where I would go with it. I
don't think that. I agree with this comment. I'm gonna be like all of our goals. Like if you really think about even all of last season, we don't have goals that look alike. And I'm not saying that's a extremely necessary thing. But if you look at Liverpool, they get a lot of their goals the same way. If you look at Man City, they get a lot of their goals the same way. If you look at Spurs now, the way they're built, they counterattack, they get their goals the same way. We don't get our goals the same way. It's either we sit back, we counterattack, or we're relying on somebody to pull out. We're relying on Bruno to do something brilliant. We're relying on Rashford or Tony to do something. We don't have a real conducive pattern of play to break down a team. I think that's a fact. I think that's consistently break down teams.
How I see it is our original pattern is to play out from the back, which we're not good at. So it's a broken pattern, is what I would call it.
Okay. How about that? Obviously we're at the top level of football. This is the highest level of football. They're not doing nothing in training. They're working on something. But when people say no pattern of play, they mean not a good pattern of play, not something that's conducive to success. So yes, we can say we play a high line. We don't play a good high line. We do when we do have the ball. We do play side to side, but it's nothing that's going to scare any team. You know what I'm saying? The West Brom 1-0, we went off of a penalty. They played 5 at the back. We couldn't break them down. So that I think that's what people mean when they say no pattern of play, not a good pattern of play that's conducive to success.
I think what you're saying there, Temi, one Keane just said there, we do struggle against a low block. It's because Ollie does try. The reason why he's got pace on the wings is because he is playing a counter-attack. That's the game he is. He's trying to sit them in and bring the other team onto us, but it doesn't happen when you play the smaller teams. So that's why we do struggle with them. And people in the comments saying we don't have a style of play. Counter-attack is a style of play. It's not the style of play like it is a style of play.
I agree. I completely agree. Counter-attacking football is a style of play, but if you're Manchester United,
you have to be adaptable.
You have to be progressive. Alex Ferguson, yes, we know we lost some of the counter-attacking goals we saw under Sir Alex, but we were breaking down teams. Like if you look at 1999, the 1999 treble team, we scored similar goal, like just like Liverpool does right now. We scored like you could predict what was going to happen in the game, and no one could stop it. That's how you know a team is well drilled. They're not playing. We're Manchester United. We're not supposed to be playing counter. We're not a Burnley. We're not a small club that's that doesn't have a chance. We have world class players. No matter what anyone says. More often than not, when we step out on the pitch, our players are better than that other team. More often than not. So we should be breaking down teams and beating them. Simple, point blank. Period. Counterattacking football is that's what baby clubs do. That's what baby clubs do. It's a fact.
Right. So here's a question.
What you're saying is right. I'm not for 1 minute saying you're not right. What you're saying, Temi, I think you are, mate. I totally agree that we do need a more progressive game, but I don't feel the reason why Ollie consistently picks these two holding midfielders is because he doesn't have the confidence in Maguire and Lindelof. which I think Lindelof's quite comfy with the ball at his feet. He's the better passer out of the two of them, for sure. I've seen it at Benfica. Yeah. I've seen it at United. He is a ball-playing centre-back. He just doesn't have the pace when he needs to make that ground back up from the cover, the space that he's moved into. And then, obviously, Bissaka's having to fill in for him, so we're losing the right side. But I don't feel like them two players have the ability to play into that midfield and then the midfield progress the ball up to a Bruno and maybe two wider players. I think Ollie's going with the counter-attack at the moment because he doesn't feel he's got the personnel that can play a different game. I don't agree with it. That's what I'm saying. I totally agree with you. Tell me what you're saying. I would have more footballing players in there. Matter's great on the ball, but as I say, I think at the moment, Ollie's style is based off of that counter-attack because he doesn't believe it. Maybe, if we're being brutally honest, maybe his management style, he doesn't know anything else at the moment. He's getting results with that counter-attack, So he's under that much pressure that every time we drop points for 2 games, his job's on the line. He goes back to what gets him results, which is that counter-attack. As I'm saying, I totally agree with you. Is we do need a more progressive game. One of the comments said it earlier. It's like we half press. You either press the ball or you don't press the ball, and you sit back and you sit back for the counter attack. We seem to not. We seem to be in the middle of it. You either press or you don't press, and it's very frustrating. But tell me, what you're saying is bang on. I'm not saying you're wrong at all.
No, I agree, Jamie. Karthik, I have to respond to a comment I see from our guy Jacob. It says, Temi doesn't. Okay, there we go. Temi doesn't seem to. Some of our players don't have good enough intelligence or ability. This has, bro. You always in our comments. I rock with you. That has to be one of the funniest comments I have ever heard in my life. If I go through our starting 11 right now, almost all of them are internationals at the highest level. All of them, literally all of them. Internationals at the highest level or have won things, big things in this country or abroad. Like Harry Maguire, as much as I criticize him, he's an England international, played in every single game in the World Cup, started every single game in the World Cup, scored a goal. Lindelof, Swedish international, has played at very high levels. Pogba, World Cup winner. Matic, Premier League winner. Martial, French international. Rashford played at the highest level for his country. Greenwood has 18 years old, got games for his country. Van de Beek has played in Champions League semifinals. Bruno has played for his country at the highest level now. Like that is bullshit. Like that is not true at all. At all. Our players are very intelligent. I promise you, if we had a coach who was progressive, you would see that our players are intelligent. Like I completely disagree with that. That is a laughable comment.
Speaking of going through
sorry, Karthik, go on, mate. Sorry.
Speaking of going through our 11, everyone who's watching this, make sure to stick around on All for United because me and Tammy will be live straight after this with our player rating show, which will now be live, so you guys can get involved and help us rate every player in the team today. So make sure to hit that link and set a reminder because we'll be live straight after this. Go on, Jamie.
Sorry, I was just going to say, Tammy, do you literally think then the answer is at the manager for this? Then do you just put it down to that we need a better manager?
So I've always said that I don't think Ollie's ever going to win us anything in this league. I have to call a spade a spade. We're gonna always have these highs where we get 5-6 wins on the bounce. Then we're gonna lose a couple crushing games that set us back, and then we're going to be fighting for top 4 again. Then we do it, and then we're going to keep repeating the cycle of high highs and extremely low lows. You know what I'm saying? And he's had 2 years, he's had almost 2 years now. At least a year and a half. Going to be 2 years in January. That's more, in my opinion. I have not seen anything that says he's going to be able to be a progressive manager the way Manchester United wants to be, and that's I love Ollie. Like I'm obviously, most of us are pretty young here. We didn't see Ollie at his absolute peak, but we've watched enough football. If you're a United fan, to see what he was as a player, absolutely wonderful player, absolutely wonderful player. As a manager, everyone needs to ask themselves this question: the Glazers are not going anywhere. Never. We're always going to, no matter who's the manager, we're going to be complaining about what the Glazers are doing. Is there managers out there that are better to do the job than the manager that is here currently? Yes or no? I'm not going to say Ollie in or Ollie out, but everyone who's watching this, think to themselves and ask themselves that question. Is there a manager out there right now that could do better with the crop of players that we have right now? And ask that question for yourself. I'm not gonna answer it for you.
Right, I don't want this to turn into an Ollie and Ollie out discussion because we'll be here for hours. And me and Tammy have a show to do. Anyway, right, before I have my closing thoughts, I always give everyone a round. So Tammy, really quickly, closing thoughts on man of the match.
Yes, sir. Very excited about the win today. Definitely needed it. Again, another away win. I mean, we're cruising away from home. So shout out to the boys for that. But we need to put in a full 90 performance before I'm ecstatic and smiling. And until I see a full 90 in the league again, you're gonna be seeing just straight truth and nothing else. Just
right,
truth. So but man of the match, I'm gonna be saying that during the player rating show. So I'll keep that on the low.
Keen?
For me, it's Bruno Fernandes. Again, fantastic performance. He came on. Everything seemed to go through him. It's a close call between him and Rashford, but for me, Bruno, again, they showed his quality, and you see the difference in the penetration they're playing with the minute he's on the pitch. He's world class, and I dare to think where we'd be if we didn't have him, because he's just unbelievable.
Jamie?
I would go Marcus Rashford, mate. I thought he was brilliant when he come on, give us a little bit of injection of quality on that wide position, and completely changed the game. But like Keane mentioned there, Bruno was exactly the same. They both completely changed the game for me, but I'm going to give it to Marcus. I think it could have been Bruno, but shout out to Henderson as well for that assist. That was magic. But Marcus Rashford for me, I thought give us exactly what we needed, exactly when we needed it, and killed the game off. Although he was unlucky when he hit the post as well. But
right.
Marcus for me.
Fair enough. For me, I'm going to go with Marcus because I think it showed that when he came on, he was the most dangerous, I think. And Bruno, of course. Closing thoughts from me then. Really poor first half from United. We were very unimaginative. No creativity in the final third. We were really slow. We weren't getting hold of the ball. And we probably should have been 2 or 3-0 down in the first half. And that's because, well, Sebastian Haller couldn't keep his foot in. So maybe West Ham fans, rethink those fucking bubbles of yours, you stupid twats. And maybe they don't pop them and leave water around to slip on. Anyway, I had to get one in. They gave me so much shit after that preview. Right, so second half, United, great response. Ollie made the changes that he had to make in the end. Whether you want to praise him for that or not, he made the right changes. And they changed the game, which we would expect to do. Bruno came on, did his thing. Rashford was dangerous. And United quickly scored the 3 goals that got the win. That's another away win. United now move up the table. We're close to the top 4. I think we're in the top 4. 2 points off the top of the table. And things are good. And we can look ahead to Leipzig and say, well, we need a point from there, so let's try and get a win there. Because we don't want to go and try and get a point. But I leave you on this because, well, we've won a game. So let's try and be positive about that. We've won a game coming back from behind. Yes, it might not be sustainable. Yes, we might not have had a clear plan, clear style of play. But sometimes we've just got to roll with it. And if we win every game doing this and we win the league, who's going to be sat here complaining about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Absolutely none of us. So, in the end, United have won. United are closer to winning the league. United are going to be 1 game closer to winning the Champions League in a couple of days. So let's all feel happy. Make sure to join me and Temi for the player ratings because we're not done here yet. We're stuck on all for United. It's like a jail, but it's a nice one because we're stuck with all of you. Make sure to follow everyone up. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one in a bit.